Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining me here on, of course, my YouTube channel. And I thought I'm just, get to start a new series. So it's called Ne0 Gets to Know. Very simple title, but essentially that is what I do. I get to know. And for my first interview, I thought I'd start with one of probably the best up and comers in the EU scene currently in Counter Strike. Of course, it's the main man, Torzsi. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm fine. Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, always
I
a pleasure.
appreciate it.
Yeah, always a pleasure. Of course, we've got a list of questions we'll go through, and of course, a couple of questions from your fans and followers who we'll get to at the end. Some quite funny ones in there, so we'll get onto that in a second. But I guess we'll start right at the start, right? How did you go from essentially just being, any just old guy in Hungary to being one of the best up and comers in EU, signed under the Mouse Sports org? What's your story getting into CSGO?
Okay, so I didn't play with CSGO first.
Okay.
Um, and I have two other brothers who showed me the Counter-Strike 1.6,
Mm-hmm.
and I started to play with 1.6 on like 6 years ago,
Okay.
or
Yeah.
like 10 years ago.
For a
I
long
don't know.
time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, long time. And I always watched them playing Counter-Strike. So
Mm-hmm.
like I grew up in this community or
Yeah.
in Counter-Strike.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Brothers show me
So
the
the
game.
older brothers were like your kind of influence coming into it.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
And how much older are those brothers?
One of I am 18, 19, sorry. One is 26 and the other one is
Okay.
28.
Oh yeah, so they are much older, so they would have had that experience of the previous iterations of Counter Strike, like 1.6 and Source, essentially.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That seems like quite a common thing actually. People have like older siblings who show them the ways. It happens quite a bit. So what was your influence coming through in terms of, was there any specific pros coming into scene, or was it actually your brothers? I mean, coming, getting started into, 1.6 in CS:GO, were you looking, as towards pros as your influence, or was it actually your other brothers essentially?
Um, Not really. I just enjoy the game because I
Mm,
really like to play it.
true.
So like around until 16, when I was 16, I just played it because I enjoyed it, and it
Mm,
was like my second thing to do.
yeah, yeah. And that was like, so essentially it was no real like kind of pros who gave you that influence. It was essentially just you loved playing the game and therefore you improved so much in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, maybe from back then it was SK Gaming,
Ah,
and
okay. What a roster that was as well.
yeah, Poland is one of my favorite player, and
Mm-hmm.
he's my idol. We can say that,
Yeah.
and yeah.
Well, I mean, it's good footsteps to follow in, right? I mean, he's called the godfather of Brazilian Counter Strike, so not a bad influence to have, I'd say. So, how did you? I mean, this is another one that I saw quite a few people actually quite interested in this one on the community questions, but it was already one that we had kind of lined up. But how did you essentially go from playing at ESEA and Faceit pugs and that kind of thing, and even matchmaking essentially with your friends to then becoming a professional Counter Strike player? What was that sort of step? How did that happen essentially? And for you, how quick was that? Was it a long time of grafting through, or was it kind of an opportunity that just came to your feet?
Okay, so first, if you check my Faceit,
Mm.
like I don't have a lot of games, like 2000 games. Like,
Mm.
okay, it's a lot, but it's not
Compared,
really a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And so when I started to play CSGO, like I had already, like we can say, experience from Counter-Strike,
Yeah.
FPS games. So I was not that bad.
Okay, right.
And I started to play Faceit alone first,
Mm-hmm.
and I grinded to level 10, and I just messaged one of my, one of a player from Hungary. He was level 10 too,
Mm-hmm.
and we just started to grind. And he was like, "You seem like I am good, or
Oh yeah,
I have
yeah,
potential."
yeah.
And he was like, "You wanna do a team?" And I was like,
There we go.
"Okay, why not?"
Yeah,
And
nice. So what was that team called? If you even remember.
uh, yeah, it's Ne0 Gaming. It was
Ah,
on
okay.
2017, I think.
Okay, and then was that so? Did you when you made that team? Is that when you started in the ESEA process, like ESEA Open and Intermediate, that kind of thing?
Yes, also ESL Open or something, and
Yeah.
ESCA too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, okay. And then from there, and who was that? Who that other Hungarian guy who you started playing with?
It's Husar. I
Who's
was
that? Okay.
uh, I was on V4 with him, and
Oh, okay, okay. Right,
I
and
think.
then that's your story essentially. You went from level 10 and now playing under Mouse Sports next. I mean, it's a pretty good story. I mean, as well, 17 to 19, it's only 2 years. It's quite a good. I mean, for most pros, some of them, 5 years of grinding before they end up getting there. You've done it in two, so I mean, it's testament to your skill, I'd say.
Yes, it was really fast actually.
Mhm.
I didn't, um, I don't know, count with this.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get you. I feel that. Yeah, 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 okay. So I guess how was the? I mean, there's another one of those guys, similar sort of situation. How was the transition from being, just playing face level 10, grinding her solo grinding to then that team play? I think when you play in a face it pug, you can kind of dictate your own roles, kind of do whatever you want to do. If you want to play aggressive, you can play aggressive. But then obviously when you come to team CS:GO, you get given a certain role or position that you have to play. On every map. How was that transition? I think some people find it really, really tough who are normally quite aggressive players. How was it for you? Was it tough, or was it actually quite easy to slot into a team?
I, I, in my opinion, it is really hard to switch,
I can
and
imagine.
it is still really hard
Hmm.
because, like, we are not perfect players. There is
Yeah,
no perfect players. We everyone does mistakes,
yeah,
so and we are trying to play our best.
yeah.
But I think if you watch a Face It Pug and you watch a like you can even watch a tier 3
Hmm.
CS match, like you can just see another game. Like
Yeah, yeah.
it's not the same. On
No,
Face It, you're just running around,
yeah,
and on Team CS, like you have everything talked, and
yeah. I can
it's a
imagine.
very different game.
So for you, especially, like, of course, you've had quite a quick kind of rise from playing, with your mates in Hungary, face level 10, to now. Are you still sort of learning that team CS, or is it starting to become a little bit more normal now for you?
No, I think it's normal, and I'm really used to
Mhm.
it because,
Okay, that's
as
good.
I said, I'm playing in a team
Hmm.
for like 5 or 4 years,
Hmm.
and I think it was my lucky path to get to the team really young and
Yeah.
fast, and I just get used to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I think that is like the common thing, right? You just kind of get used to it. So I guess now we can probably talk about the big thing for you that's come in recent times is of course the mouse sports opportunity, right? This is a huge thing in your career. You've just come from Budapest 5, now into mouse sports next, the academy roster, I guess you could say, for this mouse sports side. How did that come around? And for you, how big of a step was it going from Budapest 5 to now mouse sports next?
Okay, so I think um, it is a really big step,
Mm-hmm.
and I still can't really believe this happened. And in my opinion, like to get out of Hungary in CS
Mm-hmm.
is really, really hard, and
Yeah.
like very few uh, people did this
Yeah,
or
being from the
done it.
UK, I understand that massively. There's not a lot of UK CS pros either, so understandable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also there aren't really good players in Hungary, so it's
Mhm.
really hard to get to the international level.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so like around May on May 2021,
Mhm.
our coach Dennis messaged me on Twitter if I
Mhm.
was interested in a other team.
Ah, okay.
And on BP5, we were like on the edge,
Yeah.
so like falling apart,
Hmm.
kinda,
Yeah.
because we hadn't a fifth,
Yeah,
and
and
I was
Fasher
like,
was standing in, wasn't he, at the time?
yes,
Yeah.
and also um, next to Fasher, we needed to find a new fifth, so
Ah,
we wanted to
right.
play with two not Hungarian.
Yes, okay, right. Yeah, makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, and I messaged him back like, yes, I am interested in because
Hmm.
BP5 is in not the best shape,
Hmm.
and
And there
that's
we
it.
go. And then Mouse Sports next. So, how quick was it going from BP5? Because I remember you at the time. I remember you playing you in Blast Rising. I think it was, and you of course still with Budapest 5, and then you left the roster about a week after. So, how long did it take essentially for this deal? I think it's a big thing that people kind of are curious about. Is how long does it take for these things to happen? Is it does it take a couple of months for it to all come through, or is it a pretty quick process?
It was actually a pretty fast
Mm-hmm.
thing. Uh, Mouse I mean, Dennis messaged me on the 10th of May, as
Yeah.
I remember,
Hmm.
and the paper work were done
Hmm.
around at the 22
That's
already.
pretty
So
good.
in like
Yeah.
2 weeks.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty good to be fair. And then by then you're essentially officially signed to the mouse sports.
Yes.
Hmm.
After that, uh, BP, the Mouse Esport didn't want to announce yet,
Hmm. Yeah.
so we had to wait like a week,
Yeah.
sorry. And at the end of the May, we got announced. I mean,
Yeah.
I got announced that I was sold.
Yeah, right. Yeah, okay. Oh, that makes sense. So it's like it's a quick process to sort of get to the signing, but then of course you have your announcements which slow it down. So it could have been like 2 weeks, but they make it a long time, so it's all finalized basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. That makes sense. So what drew you to accepting Mouse? I know you've already mentioned that Budapest 5 at the time was like sort of falling apart. Was that one of the main considerations? There was like a new big step for you, and what was the sort of I guess the consideration around it? I mean, of course, was it a straight away yes, but or were you because Budapest 5 was falling apart, or were you a little bit hesitant as to whether it was going to work or not?
Uh, no. So to be honest, it was a straight yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, and it's not just because I didn't like BP5 or
Mhm.
something. I like to play with them,
Yeah.
and I am still good friends with them, and
Mhm.
we talk every day. But I think when these kind of opportunities come to you, like
Mhm.
you had, you just can't decline it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. It's huge. It's a massive step. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just Mouse Esports.
Mhm.
It's a very big
Yeah.
company,
Yeah.
so it was like a straight yes.
Yeah.
And also the thing that it is a international
Mhm.
thing. It's just a big step.
Yeah, I can imagine. As you mentioned, you're not going to break it into Hungary, so I can imagine that being, obviously, it is a huge opportunity. This is obviously a little side question, but did you celebrate at all once you got the opportunity? Was there, did you go out for some drinks or some food, anything like that?
Sorry, I didn't really understand the question. Can you repeat?
Yeah. So once you obviously got the opportunity and it was agreed that you were going to go to Mars Sports, was did you go for any celebrations? Did you go out for
Oh,
drinks or food or anything like that?
oh yes. Me and my family went to our dinner.
Nice. Yeah, I bet that
Oh
was
yeah,
an exciting time.
yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah, yeah. So, what is the goal with Mouse Sports next? Of course, you're kind of a roster now of people, as you mentioned, international roster, kind of all from all over. From different parts of the world. So, what's the goal for Mouse Sports next? You're kind of now in the sort of tier 2, tier 3 scene. Is it breaking into top 30 HLTV? That seems like quite a common one, or is it starting to get a good run against tier 1 teams? Sometimes people like that kind of practice. What is it for Mouse Sports next? What's the goal essentially?
To be honest, like we didn't have a goal like to
Mhm.
reach top 25 or something like this.
Yeah.
I think everyone just wants to show his best
Mhm.
because it is a really big opportunity for us,
Yeah.
and we just want to play our best CS every time
Yeah.
when we can, and just show that we have a really good potential,
Yeah.
and just yeah, I think top 30 is possible and seems a reality.
Okay, so top 30, yeah, that is possible, especially if you've been playing in a couple of tournaments at the moment, and there's a few other sort of tier 2. There's the Blast Rising, there's EDC, the European Development Championships, the Spring Sweet Spring stuff. So if you put up good performances, we've seen teams like Skaden and Tropic do exactly that. Or you're trying to follow their footsteps, teams who did really really well in this tier 2 scene to now start pushing. Is that kind of the same trajectory you're looking for?
Yes, we are trying to practice as much as we can
Mm-hmm.
and get the synergy together
Yeah,
and getting better and better every day.
yeah,
And
yeah.
we just want to improve faster than the other teams. That's our goal.
There we go. And I guess on a sort of a similar note, what is your personal goals with Mouse Sports Next? Is it to just generally improve as a player? Is it to look for a next step past Mouse Sports Next? What is your kind of personal thing you're looking for?
Um, my aim is to be really good with this team
Hmm.
because I think it has a really good potential,
Yeah,
especially with Dennis, with our coach. I think
yeah.
he really helps us a lot,
It's a
and
smart
I
man.
trust him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I just try to listen to him every situation and
Hmm.
try to improve and try to get the experience what I need.
Yeah. How has it been working with Dennis? Of course, he has so much experience in CSGO. I mean, it's a name who, like, most people within the scene know pretty well. Obviously, a very, very talented guy, really smart as well. What's it been like working with him?
Yeah, I think he's the typical Danish.
Hmm.
So he's a really kind guy. He's really helpful.
Yeah,
Like he's the guy who you can trust in. You
yeah,
can tell
yeah.
him everything, and I think he has a lot of experience that he can give us,
Hmm.
and I love him.
Yeah, I was gonna say it seems like you have quite a good friendship with him as well. I mean, I've seen on Twitter you kind of have jokes between each other. Is the friendship starting to bond there as well?
Yes, I
Yeah.
think he's a really cool guy, and I can't wait to meet him on the real life.
Yeah, that's another thing, right? Have you met any of your team in real life yet, or is it all so far on just online computers, that kind of thing? Is it never in person?
Not yet, just online.
One day, I mean, we're getting there. Hopefully soon.
Yes, hopefully soon.
Yeah. So, I mean, a similar sort of thing. What is a team dynamic like, right? Because you're a new roster, you're four different nationalities as well. Was it, did it take a bit of time to work on that synergy, or was it, quite natural?
I think it came naturally
That's
because
good.
uh, the two Polish, Kamil and Hubert,
Hmm.
are in a really good relationship,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of experience in CS, and also John has a lot of experience,
Hmm.
and like it just came naturally. We
That's
can
good.
just trust each other in
Hmm.
CS. But also Dory has like he had played in FPLC a lot.
Hmm.
He's the youngest guy, but I think
Yeah.
he's really talented and he will improve very fast.
Hmm.
He has a lot of potential.
Yeah, well, I guess that sort of explains, the good run of performances. I mean, your first three games were all wins. Like that's a pretty good start, you'd have to say, for a new roster with four different nationalities. It's a pretty good start. I mean, how has the start been? Because you had three wins up to now, and that one loss against Skade, which, in all fairness, they're a very difficult team, Skade. So I think that's not really a bad one to lose to. They're a good team. How has it been so far?
I think all of the games were really great
Yeah.
and we enjoyed it, all
Hmm.
of them. Um, Unfortunately, we couldn't win versus Cade. It was two close games, 16-14 both.
16-14. Yeah, it was. I watched a bit of that, and it was so close. It could have gone either way.
Yeah, I think versus Cade we wasn't on point and wasn't
Mhm.
focused 100%, and I think we could play it better, but
Mhm.
like these things happen,
Yeah,
so we
yeah.
just moved on and we are focusing our next game.
Yeah, that's exactly that. I mean, I guess when it comes to a loss, right? I think from a win, you take the positives. You won the game, that's good. But what is it like when you get a loss racked up? Of course, you said your first one against Skade, a close game. What's the process then for you guys? Is it do you get into a call and go through kind of what went right, what went wrong? Is it about learning from that exact game, or is it more about into your practice? Is it just fine tuning your play style? Do you learn from like the game you've just lost, or how does it work for you guys?
Yes, we
Mhm.
are learning from every game. Even we won, we watch back the demo
That's
and
good.
just we need to learn and improve as fast as we can.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, we already watched the demo back,
Yeah.
and I will do it after this interview personally.
Yeah,
So yeah,
yeah. I'm keeping you to that promise as well. I'm gonna double check.
I will.
Good. So another sort of thing in terms of the team, right? Of course, you said that the team dynamics really good, but what has it been like for you? Because of course you've gone from a Hungarian roster, of course speaking in Hungarian. What has it been like now moving into an international roster? I guess the biggest thing, speaking English all the time. Has it been a bit of a hard step to like take a step into speaking in your second language, or has it been alright so far?
Yeah, so fortunately, I got a really good English education in school in
Hmm.
Hungary.
Yeah,
So I am lucky.
yeah.
And also I played a lot of in FPLC. So I'm not saying I am perfect in English,
Hmm.
but like I can express myself. I can
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
what I want to do or something,
Oh
and
yeah.
I can understand really good.
Hmm.
I have a lot of mistakes in English, I know, but I'm trying to improve it.
Hey, you speak
So,
2 languages. That's more than me. So I've got all the respect in the world. So I got to give you there. So I guess similar sort of thing with Hungary. What was it like growing up in Hungary? I guess that's just a more sort of outside of CS thing. What was it like?
it's I mean, what can I say? It is a good place. It is
Hmm.
a nice place. I live next to Budapest, the
Yeah.
capital city,
Hmm.
and here is the Duna, the Danube.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's a really nice place, and I really like this town.
Yeah. And I guess so. Have you always lived there?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Okay.
haven't moved yet.
Ah, well, yeah. Maybe one day. Maybe if you end up, going on LAN, you can be in a team house. We see that quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how have you enjoyed your time so far? I kind of a general question. Of course, you said you've really enjoyed it. You said you're getting on with the guys. Has it been really good in terms of your learning experience as well? I know you're getting on with the rest of the team really well. You all seem to be have a quite a good bond, especially you and Dennis. I see that on Twitter. But in general, has it been really good? And has it been like really good learning experience? Do you think your game has stepped up?
Um, I really enjoy. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, I'm really enjoying every time we play, and
Mm-hmm.
like it's nice to sleep and wake up like I am motivated to practice every
That's good.
day,
Yeah.
and I just can't wait every time to practice again and play with these guys because they are adorable and I
Yeah.
love all of them.
Oh, that's perfect.
So yeah, we are trying to help each other every time if it's
Mm-hmm.
possible and try to speak to each other in every situation. So I
Mm-hmm.
really like this team, and
Yeah, well,
yeah,
that's perfect, right? That's exactly what you want. If you get on with them and you have that motivation, that just will spell good signs. That will, of course, improvement. And you've been improving really, really well recently. So I guess the last sort of question in terms of CS:GO itself, I've kind of already asked you, but in your let's talk long term, right? Your entire sort of career, what is your personal goals? Do you have anything? I know some players like to say they'd like to be on, the top 20 at some point in their life. Is that something for you, or is it more about, would you like, of course, everyone would like to win a major, but what are you looking for in your entire career? What's the sort of the goals for you? It's a long term question. It's a hard one to answer, but a perfect one to finish off the topic of CS:GO, I'd say.
okay. So to be honest, I don't really know. It would be great to play in a top team, but
Mm-hmm.
like that's not my main goal. I just want to be a good player
Mm-hmm.
in like from the Hungary scene
Mm-hmm.
and just try to help the Hungarian community. And I really like. I really like. Um, try to help the Hungarian community to get better
Mm-hmm.
and maybe just know them better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah,
Well, I mean, you said your sort of idol coming in was Fallen. He's the godfather of Brazilian CS. Maybe in the
yes,
future we'll say, Torzsi, the godfather of Hungarian CS. One day.
yes, it would
Well,
be great.
exactly. We'll keep an eye out for it. I mean, to be honest, the performances you've had so far have been ridiculous. I mean, I think if I'm right in saying over your last 4 games, which is 3 wins and 1 loss, you've got an average rating of 1.3, I think it is. I mean, this is a ridiculous good start from you. And HLTV rating there. I mean, it seems to be going well, I'd say.
Yeah, it is really going well, and
Mhm.
I hope it stays like this because I think we are rolling.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I guess that sort of sums up, in general, the CSGO sort of section we're looking at. I think it's a good place to start. Of course, that's your bread and butter. But let's talk about you, right? Your personal sort of everything. So outside of esports and outside of CSGO, what are your hobbies? What are your interests? What do you like doing?
um, Before CS,
Mm-hmm.
I had been playing handball for like 10 years.
Ah, okay, that's a cool sport. I played a bit of handball. It's good.
Yeah, it is a really good sport, and
Mm-hmm.
I like to watch it.
Yeah,
But I stopped because of CS,
yeah, it makes
and
sense. Yeah.
yeah, that is not maybe hookah. I like shisha, doing shisha. I don't know.
No, hey, well, one point I'll come out to Hungary. We'll go to a shisha bar.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, handball. I can understand why you'd stop for CS. You don't want to ruin your hands, but it's a cool sport. Did you play? Was it kind of at school, or was it did you have a club outside of school that you would go to kind of after your lessons are finished?
It started with like a school club
Mm-hmm.
because I started really young,
Yeah, yeah.
around I don't know, 9 years old or
Mhm.
8. And after it became like there was a club in our city.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and
And you went
there
onto
was
there.
yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's good to be fair. And would you say you were pretty good at handball? How would you rate yourself?
Um, like in handball,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I was a goalkeeper,
Oh,
and
it's a tough one. Yeah.
yeah, I mean there was a time where I think I was good, but CS came in and I
Yeah.
just
It took over.
yeah.
Yeah, no, exactly. We've all been there. I think everyone who's involved in CS has had something else they were doing, and then CS came in, and then I think that's like me with football. I think I was pretty decent at football. Then CS came in. Hey, I haven't kicked the ball in
Yeah.
so long. So yeah, we've all kind of been there. Yeah, that makes sense. So this is another thing. I sort of involved in CS:GO as well. But what does like a daily routine look like for you? I know you said you've been practicing a lot, but give me a daily routine which involves CS:GO and then a daily routine which doesn't. You know, a day off. Give me both.
Okay. So when we are playing CS,
Mhm.
I woke up at around 10.
Mhm.
Uh, I do a shower, I do breakfast, and just sit in front of the computer,
Mhm.
chilling a little bit, like a hour or and a half.
Mhm.
And around noon,
Mhm.
we have like a 2 hour story where we watch demos or just talk on the server.
Okay.
And after that, we practice
Yeah.
and we have a break. And after that, we will practice like 2 or 3 or 4. It depends.
Okay. Yeah.
And around 6 or 7 we finish,
Mhm.
and I do dinner,
Yeah.
or yeah, and also in the break I eat.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Okay. And then how does
And
that different if you have a match? Do you do? Oh, I'm assuming a lot less practice, but still kind of demo review and practice before to warm up. How does it work if you have a match? Let's say you have a match at 6 p.m. How does that
yeah,
change?
yeah, it depends because if you have like at 10 a.m., you just can't. You
Yeah.
just woke up and ate.
Uh huh.
You like talk and play that match
Yeah.
for like 1 hour before the game,
Okay. Yeah.
and you play the match. But if it's on like 6 p.m.,
Mhm.
we have like the same 2 hours theory,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
a practice, a break, and after that we go to the match.
Right. Okay. Cool. That makes sense. And then let's say you have a Sunday, no CS:GO. Do you practice every day? Is it 7 days a week practice?
No,
So
we play 6 times.
okay. And then which day do you have off? Is it Sunday?
It is not fixed based on the officials because
Oh, okay. Right. Yeah.
yeah, but we figure it out. Sometimes Friday or Saturday. It
Okay.
depends.
Yeah. And then so what would you do in a day where there's no practice, no officials? What's a normal day look like for you then?
Um, I mean, I did say CS.
Yeah. Fair.
Yeah, but if I have, usually I go out with my friends or go
Mhm.
to Budapest
Okay.
with
Yeah.
my friends, and I usually go to the pool in
Yeah.
our
Yeah.
garden,
Yeah.
especially
Oh,
in
you have a
summer.
pool in the garden. Oh,
Yeah,
living
I really
lush.
like that.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know, just chilling, watching series maybe.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, what kind of series do you watch? Is there any that I would know?
Uh, my favorite one is Mr. Robot. I don't know if you know that.
Mr. Robot. That's a good show. Yeah, yeah.
It's
That's
my favorite.
it's a very good show. Yeah,
Yeah,
one of the best I say out there.
yes.
Yeah, good
And I
choice.
and I started True Detective
Oh,
now.
True Detective. I've heard about that, but I've never seen it. Do you recommend it?
Yes, I
Okay,
saw only like 3 episodes, but I really like it. I would recommend it,
okay.
I think.
Have you seen a show called Peaky Blinders?
Yes, it
That's
it is awesome.
that's my favorite. What a show. Yeah.
Yeah, it is really good.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
liked it.
Yeah, I mean it's quite cool that you can kind of either go to Budapest, which is pretty close, and an awesome city as well. Like, I mean, I've heard so much about it. It's definitely been up there on the bucket list to go. Or if you don't want to go into Budapest, you can just go into the pool in the back garden. That's living life,
Yes.
living life. So I guess I sort of spoke about this earlier, but what was it in generally? Was it like growing up in Hungary? Essentially, we kind of spoke about it briefly earlier, but you said you started CS when you kind of young at the 1.6 days, but aside from that, you said it was quite fun. You live near Budapest. Did you enjoy your time overall?
Yes, it was. I mean, I live in. I mean, next to Budapest,
Mm-hmm.
so I haven't moved yet.
Yeah, yeah,
So I have been living since I born,
yes, yeah,
and um, like it's just one place where I lived, but it is a really friendly place. It is nice to live here.
yeah.
Like the schools are great,
That's good. Yeah,
and I think the community is really good, and yeah,
it's
like
perfect. You can't
nothing
complain.
special.
Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can't complain. It's ticking all the boxes, isn't it? So that's good. Yeah. So this is a question that I've always kind of thought is a really weird thing that I always kind of think about. If you weren't involved in CS:GO right now and you weren't a professional player, what do you think you'd be doing?
Um, it's a good question. To be
Yeah,
honest,
it is.
I don't know because I just finished the school
Mm-hmm.
and um, and the opportunity just this mouse thing just came in at this May,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
I had to apply for
So we call it university. Is that
yeah,
the yes,
university
yes,
or
yeah, yeah.
college,
College, yeah, yeah.
and I didn't because I trusted in CS, but my parents
Yeah, what were they like when you said that? When you said, "Oh, I'm not going."
yeah, I trust in CS,
Yeah.
and I really like to do it. But my parents really liked if I would go to university.
Hmm.
But I just told them that like I'm not really interested in anything. I just
Yeah.
don't know
What to do?
what should I learn or
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
So
were they?
I
Oh,
can't really answer, but
yeah.
maybe like working with informatic things, you
Ah,
know.
okay, like computers and that kind of sort of thing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That seems like a pretty a kind of a standard thing, you know, because we spend so much time at the computer that probably be quite a good one to go into, I guess. So
Yeah.
if how were your kind of parents with when this decision came around? Were they, you know, were they supportive of you saying, you know, I'm not going to university, I'm going to play CS:GO professionally, or did it take a bit of convincing to kind of get them on board?
Yes, it took a lot of convince.
Yeah.
So like my parents really wanted me to go to university,
Hmm.
but I mean really. And I just wanted, I mean, I told them that I don't want to go because I
Hmm.
want to play CS and
Yeah.
just give me 1 or 2 year,
Hmm.
and after that I can go to college.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
these mouse things just came in this May,
Yeah.
and when I told them, like they were shocked, they couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
So I think they are fine with it at the
Yeah.
moment.
They're now okay. Now that Mouse has come in, they're all on board.
Yeah, but they have been supporting me for since I'm doing this. So
Yeah, that's really good. And I guess as you said, like it's really good timing, right? Because you didn't really know what to do at university, and then Mouse Sports comes in before you have to
yeah,
kind of make a decision. So now you kind of, if it is something, you can leave it to the future. But for now, you've got this. You know, you've kind of fulfilled the dream. You're playing CS:GO professionally, so
yes,
that's pretty good.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Can't go wrong. So now we're gonna go for the questions that your fans and followers sent to you. So we got quite a few that actually came through, and we'll pick and choose the best ones. But there's some quite funny ones, so we'll go through them. And these are all from the tweet that we put out going through this. So we'll get those up now, essentially. Um,
Okay.
okay, so first one, it's quite a good one actually. I've kind of thought about this myself. So aside from Mouse Sports, have you ever had any other offers to go to other teams, or was Mouse Sports the only one aside from, of course, Budapest 5?
Um, no, it was my first
It's a good one to have.
like official um, request.
Hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a pretty good one to have as your first official one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Um, another one, I think a lot of people kind of, you mentioned this, you briefly touched on it, but what is your personal warm up routine, may I say?
Um, I really like to play a lot of CS.
Hmm.
So, for example, uh, as I watched, like professional CS players have around 18 or 19 like average hours in 2 weeks,
Hmm. Yeah, yeah.
or 17. It
Yeah,
depends on them. There are some players who likes to play a lot, like me, around 110 or 20, because
nice.
I just feel comfortable when I play a lot of CS.
Yeah, you feel
I
crisp
don't
and
know.
like kind of always like ready essentially.
Yes,
Yeah,
and I think uh, that is my thing, that I play a lot of CS and I play deathmatch a lot, like
yeah.
almost every day,
Okay.
and yeah, that's it.
With deathmatch, do you have a time limit or do you have a certain amount of kills? I know some people like to say, oh, 5,000 kills and they're done or something like that. Or do you say, okay, just an hour long? How long do you do it?
It depends.
Hmm.
Um, Usually I play that match in the evening
Yeah.
after practicing.
Okay.
Uh, and in the evening I do like, it depends how tired I am. Sometimes I do like half an hour, but sometimes I do an hour,
Okay. Yeah.
and yeah.
Keeps you, crisp and fresh. So, yeah, makes sense. Makes sense. So, another one. What is your favorite song?
Oh my God, favorite
Yeah.
song?
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's
Uh,
a tough one to nail it to one song as well. I always find that. You can list a few if it's easier.
okay, I need to check my YouTube playlist.
Okay, okay. Sounds good. Sounds good. I always find
Okay,
that is the one of the toughest things to ask. Like, what is your favorite song? It's really hard to nail it to one.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I really like every kind of music.
Hmm.
I'm into like minimal techno when I'm
Ah,
playing
okay.
that match,
Yeah.
because like it helps me to
Hype.
focus.
Yeah, hypes you up a little bit as well.
Yeah, hype and
Yeah.
help me to focus. But when I'm chilling, I really like to listen like rap music.
Ah, okay.
So
Who in particular?
maybe I think one of my favorite is Franchise from Travis Scott,
Oh,
I would
Travis
say.
Scott. Top
Yeah,
choice.
I
Top
love Travis
choice.
Scott.
Top choice. Yeah, you've nailed it. Yeah, good stuff. So, I guess another one is some people saying when are they going to see you playing a little bit of FPL? They want to see, how often. We've already got your Twitch and YouTube below, but streaming wise, is that something that you're going to start bringing in? You said you like playing in the evening, so you're going to start doing some FPL streams.
Yeah, so I'm in FPSC at the moment,
Hmm.
but I don't really have time to grind it next to the team.
I can imagine. Yeah, yeah,
So like it's really hard to focus after the practice games.
yeah. I can imagine. I mean,
So
4 hours. That would do it to you.
yeah, and I just like to, be alone or be with my friends
Hmm.
talking. So if I have 3 days, I usually stream, but
Hmm.
I mean,
You don't have that
I don't
many.
think that I'm gonna grind FPSC.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So this is another one by a friend of mine. It's a conversation we have quite a lot. Messi or Ronaldo? Who's the better player?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not really into football. I
Okay.
was back then, but
Okay.
not anymore really.
Yeah.
But I've I am still a Real Madrid fan, so I
Oh,
know
okay.
Cristiano is not playing anymore there,
Yeah.
but I would pick Ronaldo.
Ronaldo. Okay. You've got to be loyal, so that's understandable. It's
Yeah.
understandable. Okay. So this is one by someone you know, Dennis, and he asks, "Are you single?"
I am, yes.
But if Dennis asks, is
Yeah,
it?
if Dennis asks, I am still.
Sounds
Yeah.
good. So just another one. Another guy says, "How does it feel?" This is something you were speaking about, but how does it? He said, "How does it feel to be carrying the Hungarian scene despite being so young?" It's a pretty big compliment, I'd say.
Uh, to be honest, I never think like this way to carrying
Mm-hmm.
the Hungarian skin, because a team depends on 5 people,
Yeah.
and I I mean I know that I am skilled and
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of potential, but if I wouldn't have like 40 mates
Mm-hmm.
who does the, the round
Yeah,
and the
yeah,
things around the round,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and they just help me to
Yeah.
get those kind of statistics that I have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes
So
sense.
yeah,
It's a very, very modest of you. You know, it's
yeah. So it's
yeah,
not just on me. It's
No.
It's everyone in the team.
Well, that is very modest of you. That's I think a spot on sort of thing. Okay, another one. This is one that's a top question. What's your favorite type of candy or sweet? Are you a chocolate man? Are you I don't even know what sweets they have in Hungary. To be honest, it's probably different to what we have.
Oh my God. Yeah, we have different, I
Yeah,
think. But
I'll put a picture
I'm
of
sure
whatever you
you.
say somewhere on the screen.
Um, maybe I would say Milka chocolate. I don't know
Oh, I
if you
do know.
have.
Yeah, I've had Milka.
Yeah,
It's quite good. Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I really like it.
Sounds good. So, I guess that essentially is the majority of the questions. You've obviously had a flying start to your career. You're only 19 years of age. You're so young. One of the top players up and coming in EU. One of the best players out of the Hungarian scene, if not the best, currently in the entirety of Counter Strike. So you've had a flying start. Mouse, what's next? I mean, what an opportunity for you. Again, thank you very much for joining me, Torzsi. It's been a pleasure, I'd say.
Yeah, thank you for your kind words. I really appreciate it, and thanks for this interview.
Yeah,
I really liked it, and
it's good to
yeah, I
hear.
enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's been good fun. Thank you very much for joining me. It's been an absolute pleasure. Of course, Mouse, what's next? You got plenty of games. Last thing, I guess, before we head off, anything you want to shout out? Of course, you got your YouTube, your Twitter, and your Twitch below. Torzsi, or on Twitch, just Torzsi CS. But anything else?
Not really, just cheer for us on the
There you go.
games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and thanks for the interview one more time.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for joining me, and thank you everyone at home for watching. This, of course, coming out on YouTube, but been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time, and thank you everyone for watching. From myself, Ne0, and Torzsi joining me from Mouse What's Next, one of the youngest up and comers, smashing at the moment. It's been a pleasure, and for now, we'll see you all very soon. Peace out.
Bye bye.